You know how on Harvey's channel he says that there's always going to be a new nigga of the month? I think it's safe to say that Kanye West definitely gets that spot for the month of October, but I might take it a step further. With everything that's been going on with him in the last month, at least the last couple of weeks pretty much almost the entire month of October, he might have one of the biggest downward spirals of this year. And it's crazy because we still have November and December left, and anything can happen in those 2 months in the remainder of 2022. But as it stands right now, this guy that you see on your screen has probably one of the biggest downward spirals that I have ever seen in a very, very long time. And quite honestly, he really has no one else to blame but himself at this point. Like, he contributed a lot to his own downward spiral, and it just continues to spiral on down. And when I say that, I'm talking about his net worth. So as we all know, Kanye West was marketed, and I have to say was because at this point it might be past tense, was marketed as having a net worth of about $2 billion. Last time I checked. I don't know if it changed or went up since that point, or since that time that I checked it, but I definitely know that it has gone down, because according to Forbes, they said he's no longer a billionaire after a lot of these companies cut ties with him. The most recent one at the time of this recording is Adidas. And what's interesting is that every time I've seen him trend in the last week or two, it's always been about a company that he had ties with dropping him from their brand. Hell, he even got dropped from a whole bank, JP Morgan Chase, and we already know their history. They dropped him from their bank altogether. And then other companies like Balenciaga dropped him, Adidas dropped him. He even got dropped by the CAA. And in case y'all don't know what the CAA is, it's the Creative Artists Agency. It says across film, television, music, sports, digital media, marketing, and beyond, we represent thousands of the world's leading actors, directors, writers, producers, musical artists, comedians, authors, athletes, coaches, broadcasters, teams, leagues, chefs, designers, fashion talent, consumer brands, and more. So for him to even get dropped by them is a huge, huge deal. So a lot of the people that you see on television, like in entertainment, or even some of these socialites or people who are big on social media and stuff like that, they're represented by them. And he was a part of that. Like a lot of your big name artists and entertainers, actors, actresses, whoever, and they fall under this umbrella, and he got dropped by them. So basically he's like a complete free agent out here. But I'm going to go ahead and read this article coming from Forbes, and it's going to break down how him losing the deal with Adidas, or Adidas dropping him, literally brought down a huge chunk of his net worth. Just days ago, the rapper come fashion entrepreneur Kanye West challenged Adidas to drop him following a weeks-long barrage of anti-Semitic remarks made on social media and in national media appearances. I can't say anti-Semitic-ish and Adidas cannot drop me, said the rapper, who legally now goes by the name Ye, on the Drink Champs podcast earlier this month. Ye, who had worked with Adidas since 2013 on his Yeezy line of super expensive, super popular sneakers, thought he was untouchable. After all, Adidas gets an estimated 4 to 8% of its sales from Yeezy products, according to investment bank Cohen. For Ye, it was an even bigger deal, accounting for $1.5 billion of his net worth. But Ye's words put the German athletic wear company, with its own Nazi ties dating back to its founders, in the hot seat. What followed was even more escalating pressure on Adidas to sever ties with Ye, as his string of anti-Semitic remarks drew condemnation from the top tiers of Hollywood. For weeks, Adidas stayed silent, except to say on October 6th that their partnership with Ye was under review. The pressure ratcheted up on Adidas after an image was released over the weekend of a banner draped over a Los Angeles highway overpassing reading "Kanye was right about the Jews," accompanied by a group of white supremacists giving the Nazi salute to the drivers below. The white supremacists were apparently referring to Ye's DEFCON 3 on that community, a tweet that got his Twitter account locked. Other anti-Semitic remarks got him blocked on Instagram, and thousands upon thousands upon thousands of social media users chorused for Adidas to also drop him. Today, Tuesday, October 25th, Adidas finally broke its silence and ended the relationship. That move will cost them big, but Ye even more, immediately knocking him out of the billionaire ranks. Adidas does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech. Ye's recent comments and actions have been unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous, and they violate the company's values of diversity and inclusion, mutual respect, and fairness, the company declared in a press release. After a thorough review, the company has taken the decision to terminate the partnership with Ye immediately, in production of Yeezy branded products, and stop all payments to Ye and his companies. Adidas will stop the Adidas Yeezy business with immediate effect. With that gone, Ye is no longer a billionaire. It caps a stunning, self-induced downfall for one of the brashest and most volatile personalities to have graced Forbes pages and a magazine cover. Ye did not respond to requests for comment. The $1.5 billion value of the Adidas deal was calculated off of multiple of annual earnings. Based on interviews with industry experts, Forbes had viewed the royalties Ye received from Adidas to be similar to royalties from music catalogs or film residuals. The Adidas income stream could be sold off, those experts said, just like dozens of musicians, including the likes of Bob Dylan and Bruce Springsteen, have sold off their life's works over the past 2 years. Without Adidas, Ye's is worth $400 million. Wow. That's crazy. Look at that leap. Look at that giant leap, that gap from multiple billions down to 400 millions just from them cutting ties from him. The remainder of Ye's fortune, Forbes estimate, comes from real estate, cash, his music catalog, and a 5% stake in his ex-wife Kim Kardashian's shapewear firm. Skims, a source close to Skims, told Forbes Ye hasn't been involved with the brand since its 2019 launch. Removing Ye from the billionaires list caps off a years-long saga between the rapper and Forbes. Ye always felt his net worth was undervalued. When he first made the list in 2020 with an estimated $1 billion fortune, Ye wasn't happy. It's not a billion, he texted us at the time. It's 3.3 billion, since no one at Forbes knows how to count. This pattern continued every year, with Ye continuing to complain about our low numbers. For this year's valuation, Ye sent documents claiming his Adidas partnership alone was worth $4.3 billion. When Ye learned he would clock in at about $2 billion overall, his unhappiness with Forbes leaked to the tabloids. Losing Adidas was the final nail in Ye's net worth coffin. Gap terminated its Yeezy partnership in September. Earlier this month, JP Morgan reportedly unbanked Ye. French fashion house Balenciaga nixed their relationship with Ye on October 21st, just weeks after he walked their runway at Paris Fashion Week, which of course we all know he was wearing that White Lives Matter shirt standing alongside the Coonstress. Just yesterday, production company MRC said it would not air a completed documentary on Ye, and talent agency CAA, where Ye was signed, dumped him. The two had been in partnership since 2013, when news of their Yeezy collaboration was announced. In the decades since, Ye's ridden the wave after wave of conflict with Taylor Swift, with his former recording home Universal Music Group, and more recently on social media against Kardashian and her boyfriend at the time, SNL alum Pete Davidson. Now the road has ended. There's always the chance Ye could relaunch Yeezy on his own. 5 days ago, Ye made his first post to Parler, the right-wing social media site he agreed to acquire for an undisclosed amount after getting locked out of Twitter and Instagram. He quoted Romans 8:31. What then shall we see to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? So that is the entire article right there. Like, that part right there, when they said when he got dropped from Adidas, it brought his status as a billionaire all the way down to 400 million. That part, like, literally almost knocked the wind out of me. Like, that's a huge gap right there. But honestly, like I said, Kanye West has really no one else to blame but himself for his own antics and his downward spiral. And now all he's like, and it's sad because in my honest opinion, he's ruining his legacy. Because when they look back on this years from now, when this man has passed on, he's dead and gone, no one's going to remember anything before this. They're always going to bring up Kanye West and all the stuff that he said that was deemed as quote unquote anti-Semitic by a certain group of people in the world. Or him having all these outlandish things. I'm telling you, whenever they decide to make that biopic about him, and they gonna make it, trust and believe, they gonna make it. Because there's gonna be a lot of controversial things around it. They gonna put all of this in here. Now, Kanye West, he had the support of black people. So for him to have constantly gone out and say that, oh, I wasn't getting the support of black people like that or anything like that, that is BS. The thing of the matter is you wanted support of another group of people, and they weren't supporting you the way that you thought you would, or they were the ones you felt like was going to give you all the financial gains that you did. And they did. But let's not forget, they still had their hands on all your finances, which tells me he probably didn't have complete control of it. Clearly not, if they could just drop you like it's nothing. Like, they literally took you from billionaire status back to just millionaire status in a matter of a day. That one Adidas deal dropping him, partnership with Adidas dropping him, literally brought his net worth from billions to millions in one day. That's crazy. I didn't realize the Adidas partnership was the one that really was the bigger one out of everything that he was involved with. But I can see it now because these were shoes that he was putting out there, and there was a lot of people buying his shoes. And then, like I said, your last line of defense probably was the black community. But when you said what you said about George Floyd and echoed the same things that Candace Owens said, and you said you talked about her documentary, even though that whole thing was debunked. It could be easily debunked. Anything she says can be easily debunked. And to link up with her, knowing how she feels about black people, that was some off-code behavior. That was the nail in the coffin. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. That was the final straw right there. And now you have George Floyd's family possibly wanting to sue you for a lot of money. I don't know how many more hits this man can actually take. And then you bought that Parler app, and we already know what that app is all about. We keep telling you to get away from Candace Owens, but you keep calling her your friend. She's not your friend, Kanye West. And she knows that. She'll call you her friend because she needs you. But see, the thing is, Kanye West is like it's almost like he's looking to belong somewhere. Like, again, almost like a nomad. They have nowhere to go. They're running out of options. This guy literally burnt so many bridges with a lot of people. And I don't know if he even has the hardware or the equipment to build those bridges back that have been burned. They probably are going to be just remain in ashes and dust. Again, he has no one else to blame but himself for that. Is he going to sit around and blame black people for Adidas dropping him, for Balenciaga dropping him, for the CAA dropping him, or these other PC European owned fashion brands or whoever for dropping him? Is he going to blame black people for why he wore that White Lives Matter shirt? Is he going to blame black people for him co-signing Candace Owens? You can't do that. You will look silly. As a matter of fact, he looks silly now. And like I said, I have to bring his supporters again. His supporters look even more silly. Yeah, it's granted that he possibly said some things that might be rooted in some truth, but then he manages to turn that corner and say stuff like, oh, well, George Floyd died from a fentanyl overdose. The cop wasn't on his neck like that. We all saw the video. We all saw the still images. Derek Chauvin had his knee on his neck, not his shoulder, not his back, on his neck. The autopsy came back and said that he died of asphyxiation, and the only way that can happen is through strangulation and the loss of breath. So when you factor all of that in, like, what else can you do? Kanye West is literally on his own right now. And he walked around here like he had balls of steel and could sit up here and tell anybody what to do, and we was just supposed to deal with it. Granted, we don't have, as black people as a collective, don't have all the resources that we need right now, but you know, we gonna still fight to get that the reparations and to get them tangibles and to cut that check. But this guy literally burnt the bridges of his handlers. Now, whether or not they are being petty about it is completely on them. At the end of the day, those are his handlers. Those are the people he had to work with. Those are the bridges he burnt. Because he works for them, not the other way around. They are the ones that cut his check, not them. Not him cutting theirs. If his shoes stopped selling, they could have dropped them from that. But now all he's gonna have is the Yeezys. They said they cut ties with him immediately, which means the minute that ink dried on that paper said we are no longer working with Kanye West at Adidas, they probably started to tell all the Adidas stores or all the stores that sold his shoes to pull them all from the shelves. Whatever factory they're in, they said probably halt production. Whatever is done, whatever you have done, take them all out and dump them, trash them. Whatever is about to get made, get rid of them. Get all the designs out of here, trash them all. Get them all away from us. And see, the thing is, companies like Adidas, Balenciaga, and all these other companies that have dropped Kanye West, they can afford to drop him because they're going to just make more without him. But can Kanye West afford to not be in partnership with these companies is the bigger question. Well, looking at how his net worth took that nosedive, I don't think so. So unless Kanye West can pull a rabbit out of his hat and find a way to sell his Yeezys as a sole proprietor separate of Adidas, because those are his designs, so Adidas can't keep them and say, well, it's ours, and you know, because it has our name on it. No, those are still his, so he can still sell it as a sole proprietor under his own brand. But will they still be able to get pumped out there in the same way with the Adidas attachment to it remains to be seen. I guess we'll have to find out from his fan base whether or not that remains to be true. And keep it in mind, I don't think the vast majority of his fan base as it stands today look like myself. So with that, I would have to say good luck to him. Good luck to all his future endeavors that literally are going to fall upon him. Because now he's literally going to have to work on his own. And one thing that I'm scared he's going to try to do, and this is something that a lot of these individuals like himself do whenever they throw black people under the bus and they get thrown under the bus by their handlers, is they're going to try to tiptoe and skip along and run back to us and think we're supposed to help them out. No. Like I said, you literally burned your last line of defense, which was black people, when you made that George Floyd comment. And I think it's not, like I said, it's not necessarily you just saying what you said about George Floyd, but it's the fact that you inserted Candace Owens' name into that with mentioning of the documentary and knowing how she feels about black people and how she feels about George Floyd. Again, this woman donated money or created Kickstarter and GoFundMe campaigns to raise money for these cops that some of those campaigns got shut down multiple times. So how else do you expect us to feel about that? See, and one thing I can't vibe with when it comes to his supporters is when they say things like, well, you know, he did mention that, but he said all these other things. Okay, fine, whatever. But the fact of the matter is he was still all cold when he said that. That goes into my pet peeve of insulting my intelligence and how much that pisses me off. So, Kanye West, I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know like how he's going to bounce back from this. This is a huge fall from grace. And I had said before, when I found out that he had crossed the $1 billion mark as far as the net worth, I was saying there back then, I said, wow, that's dope. I'm proud of this guy right here. I mean, this is a guy who started off with music and now look at where he's at. Now, fast forward to now, you got to ask him, God damn, how did we get here? I wanted to answer something regarding Adidas and a statement they made back in 2018, as you can see by this date. Now, granted, I meant everything that I said about Kanye West up until this point. However, when there's a hypocrisy that needs to be pointed out, you just have to merely acknowledge it. Look at this headline right here from May 3rd, 2018, and this is on the CNBC website. Adidas is standing by Kanye West, who said slavery sounds like a choice. It goes on to say this: Adidas isn't currently planning to drop rapper Kanye West as a sneaker designer, despite his comments this week on slavery in the U.S., which sparked a flurry of backlash on social media. Kanye has helped us have a great comeback in the U.S., Adidas CEO Kasper Rorsted told Sarah Eason on CNBC's Squawk on the Street Thursday morning. There is no doubt the Yeezy brand has a fundamental impact on our overall brand. So they, back in 2018, when he made these comments saying that slavery was a choice, which literally riled up damn near a good chunk of black people in America whose ancestors definitely were slaves in America, they were okay with that. They kept him on when he said that. But when it came to them folks, they had to drop them and take all that money with them. Like I said, I meant what I said when it came to Kanye West up until this point. I'm not backpedaling on none of it. But I find this to be very, very interesting in how they were upset about what was recently said. But when he said something that was affecting black people, even himself, they were okay with that and decided to still keep him on. And keep this in mind, Kanye helped us have a great comeback in the U.S. So basically what they're telling us is that we don't give a damn about black people and their ancestry. But when it comes to them folks, well, that's a little bit different. We got to cut ties. We got to cut the strings. We got to let you go and take a chunk of your fortune away from you as well. But when he said this, they gave him more. So that basically is saying something else. As long as you are in the entertainment industry and you as a black person are throwing your people under the bus, you will be rewarded as they have rewarded him in this sense right here. And it doesn't have to just mean Adidas. It could be anything. Why do you think the Coonstress continues to do and say the things that she does and do the things that she does? Because she knows she can get rewarded in that aspect. After all, they figure we can get rewarded throwing you under the bus than say, you know, helping you to get on it or create your own bus line. This also shows that without the shadow of a doubt, there's profit in throwing black people under the bus or undermining black people. And it doesn't even have to just stay in the realm of entertainment. Look at how these politicians talk down to us or talk at us like we cannot comprehend what it is that they're saying to us or comprehend them speaking to us in a tone like we are adults. They do the same exact thing that a lot of these entertainers do. But the minute they do something that's a little bit off or what they'll consider to be way off, then that's when they have to pull the rug from under you. You went off script. You went outside of the coloring line. You swerved into the opposite lane. And now you see what's going on with Kanye West. And this happens. One thing I wish Kanye West would have brought up in his mini rants is this part right here. Why get rid of me when I say something that is deemed as quote unquote anti-Semitic, but when I said slavery was a choice, you decided to keep me on? Because clearly we didn't forget. But as Rob from Blacklight Revelations always says on his channel, I guess this is just the world being correct. And neither did they.